Hello everyone, how are you doing? It actually it rained last night here in Texas and it's a little bit chilly out here. But I wanted to come on and talk about this a little bit. To talk about the fear and the panic and things like that. But disclaimer, and I have my computer down here because I have some notes and stuff so I can make sure I'm sharing the right information with you guys. So, disclaimer, let me explain something to you. I am not judging anyone's reaction. I am not here to talk about that if you have 15 rolls of toilet paper in your house, I don't care, you do you. If you're winging it and you're like, screw that shit, I'm not going to go buy all of it, that's fine too. I am not here to judge anyone's reaction. I am here to talk about how do you deal with the fear and the panic, that feeling of your chest being tight and just that because the problem is as we feel this fear, right? It's going to elevate the stress and cortisol levels in our body, which is going to lower our immune system. So we need to know how to deal with this fear so it's not causing this panic in us, the chest tight, can't breathe, can't sleep at night, and also the version of panic that is causing some people to be straight up assholes. So that's what I'm talking about today. I'm not talking about anyone's reaction to it because quite frankly, when it comes to, everybody's like, why are people buying toilet paper? But then other people are like, I gotta buy all the toilet paper. And then some people are like, why are you buying all the food? Screw you. I'm not judging anyone's reaction. Whatever your reaction is, it's totally up to you. I'm just talking about the version of the panic because my focus is right now for me to take care of my immune system. And I want to provide that help for you guys too. And when your stress level is up, your immune system is lower. Because think about it, when you're at your job and things are really, really stressful, you somehow manage to get sick when you're really stressed out because it lowers your immune system. So we're dealing and talking about the panic today. What the hell do you do when the fear and panic is really overwhelming? Because I used to be somebody who dealt a lot with fear and anxiety and things like that. That there would be times a couple years ago in my job where I would feel panic attacks and anxiety attacks where my chest would tighten up, my vision would start to tunnel vision in. There was a rehearsal that I could barely even function at because my anxiety and my fear and my doubt and everything had gotten the best of me. So this is even with me having spent the past 2 years really working on myself and my emotional intelligence and the handling of myself on a day-to-day basis, I can still feel that there is this energetic thread of panic that is going through humanity. And I'm sure that everyone can feel it, whether you are allowing it to affect you or not. Everyone can feel that there is this thread of panic that is going through humanity right now. We can all feel it because, and the biggest thing is there's a lot of things that are changing because of this. Some people have said, I don't subscribe either way to you should freak out and panic or you should brush it off. Just so you know, I'm kind of that middle person on that stuff. But there's this thread of panic going through because there's a lot of change. This is a virus that we don't know much about because it's a new one that's coming up and it's causing a lot of change. I have found a post of someone in China, in China, they are locking them in their apartment buildings. You have to show proof that you're going to get groceries to leave. In Italy, they're on full lockdown that if people leave their house and garden areas, they will be fined. And then here in the States, we're talking about if you're in my world, my band world, WGI championships are completely canceled. For just in general, the NBA has canceled their season. Baseball has canceled their season. There are school districts that are closed for almost a month. So this is a lot of change and upheaval. And so there's this thread of panic that is starting to go through humanity as we are feeling this change and this shift that we're whoa, this is not what we're used to. This hasn't really happened recently to us. But the thing is, there has been times in humanity where things like this have happened. There have been European plagues that this happened hundreds of years ago. AIDS during the 80s and 90s, right? And there's going to be another time in humanity where something like this happens. This is not the first or last time this has happened. So we have to do a better job. Sorry, it keeps blinking bright and darker. So we have to do a better job of managing and dealing with that fear and that panic that is coming up with this. So first and foremost, when I feel my anxiety and my panic and all of that shit coming up, breathe. That is literally what I do because that fear is a basic human response. Okay, you're not going to, your fear is not ever going to completely go away. And if it does completely go away, most likely you're going to start making decisions that harm yourself and other people. Fear is there to help us when we really need it. So literally when I feel that stuff coming up, and if you talk to therapists, what they say when you're having an anxiety attack is to find things that I don't remember the number, like to find things you can see, to find things you can touch, like right there in the present, and to ground yourself. For me personally, I close my eyes and I breathe in as much as I possibly can, and I hold it for 3 seconds, and I exhale as much as I possibly can. And I do that for several times until I feel my heart rate slow down. Because there is there is a response your body makes to you breathing in and out, and it forces the heart rate to slow down. And by also focusing on that breath, it's taking the focus away from the cycle that we create with, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? So I first and foremost start off with breathing to ground myself back into my body, to slow my heart rate back down, and to focus on something else. But there's stuff where, like, find things that you can touch, find things that you can see in your general area are some of the things that they talk about when you're having an anxiety attack, okay? And to give you a perspective, now I'm going to give you an example from me as a teacher, because that's what I did. If, for example, as a teacher, and this is why the whole like panic thing, like we have to stop doing that as humanity. If as a teacher, I'm teaching my class and all of a sudden there's an announcement or like that there's an active shooter in the building, or I'm hearing gunshots, the worst thing that I could possibly do with my fear is to like, start screaming and freak the hell out. There's nothing productive about that, right? So instead, like one of those things, like if that were to be what would happen, I immediately would just like take a deep breath and be like, you go do this, you go do this. And that's what we're forgetting right now. This step in humanity is that whole, like, we have to start problem solving better. We have to reframe the thoughts that are coming out and problem solve them better. So again, the first thing I do is I breathe to slow everything down so that then I can actually reframe and problem solve, okay? So, like I said, it's not bad. So let's see. This one. This is what everyone's freaked out about. Holy shit, what if I get the coronavirus? And they're freaking out, and oh my god, and this and this and this can happen, and this and this and this can happen. And I'm not saying that those things couldn't happen to you, but what I'm saying is my response is, okay, what do I need to have for if I were to get the coronavirus? That's my response, is I reframe it in a way that's actually problem solving and productive. Instead of allowing myself to stay stuck in that cycle of, if I get it, this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. Because in the grand scheme of things, I'm telling you, I don't really know what's going to happen. I know, for example, I follow Organic Olivia on Instagram, and her parents were actually diagnosed, had a positive test that they had coronavirus. Her mom is in the hospital with pneumonia, and her dad is at home. He doesn't have pneumonia, and so she's helping him. But then there's also cases, supposedly, like people my age, it just feels like a mild thing. I don't know. But what I do know is it's not going to help me or benefit me to like freak the hell out over everything. So I breathe and then I reframe it for myself, and so that I can problem solve it. Okay, if I were to get the coronavirus, what do I need to have here in my house? So this is why I have my computer. Disclaimer, this is not medical advice. I'm just being helpful. So, for example, somebody said like from an RN, that, let's see, what does it say here? Things you should actually buy ahead of time. Kleenex, acetaminophen, ibuprofen, Mucinex, Robitussin, or Dayquil/NyQuil, whatever your cough medicine of choice is. If you don't have a humidifier, that would be a good thing to get. Or you can turn the shower on hot and sit in the bathroom. Because one thing that I have heard from Organic Olivia, who her parents do have it, is that it's a very dry cough, that the mucus sits in the bottom of your lungs. So she said to do a lot of the things to keep your to keep everything moist. Okay, so she talked about, again, this is not medical advice. I'm just showing you, like, this is what I do in my brain. Instead of being like, what if I get it? I'm like, okay, if this bitch gets it, what the hell do I need to have at my house to take care of myself? Or if my husband gets it, or whatever, this is what I need to have in my house. And this is what the discrepancy is between people understanding other people. The response is, well, if I'm quarantined, if my family of 4 is quarantined, then I need to have enough toilet paper for it. But then on the flip side, there's people that are like, why the hell is everyone buying toilet paper? This is a respiratory illness. We have to come to like an agreement and understanding. Like, if you don't want to go buy extra toilet paper, don't do it. It's fine, whatever. But if somebody else goes buy the extra toilet paper, that's cool. It's the people that are buying insane amounts of toilet paper. The fact that a gun was pulled in an Australian supermarket over toilet paper. Okay? Here's another one. So, another thing I ask myself is, okay, so this coronavirus thing is going around and everybody's like, oh my God, what if I get it? What if I get it? What do I need to do to boost my immune system then to not get it? Okay? Here's some things I found. Again, disclaimer, this is not medical advice. Vitamin C is always good for you. Apparently zinc might be helpful for this. Elderberry is a good organic thing that helps boost your immune system. Something I personally do to keep my immune system up is I do cryotherapy and infrared sauna, which I'll be doing that tomorrow. My appointment is tomorrow. Healthy food, and this is the thing. So a lot of people are going out to buy things. Please keep in mind to be getting healthy food. Raw vegetables, fruit, healthy foods to keep your immune system up. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm fully stocked up on all the alcohol and the wine. Just so you know, if you're trying to not get the coronavirus and you're trying to keep your immune system up, alcohol, lack of sleep, stress, those things, and junk food, those all lower your immune system. Now, I'm not saying don't drink any type of alcohol. I'm just saying, if you're planning on binging all the wine and alcohol and everything on the next few days, and then you're like, I hope I don't get the coronavirus. Well, the alcohol lowers your immune system. We have to do better problem solving, right? What can I do to protect myself right now? Get this. I'm going to tell you right now, until someone tells me not to do this, I'm not going to lock myself in my house. That's just my personal preference. I'm not going to lock myself in my house. So instead of being like, oh my God, but if I go out, no, I was going to my friend's house just the other day and yesterday, and Frozen 2 was out on Redbox, and I've been waiting to watch that, y'all. Now, Redbox is a thing that's a touch screen. These DVD cases, I have no clue who's touched them. So instead of freaking out, I breathed, and I said, okay, what do I need to do then? How do I need to protect myself to do this? And I problem solved it. That's what's reducing the panic is you have to breathe to separate yourself from that rise of panic and then just problem solve. For example, if you're like, okay, let me problem solve and see, what do I need if I'm quarantined in my house? If you're like, let me go buy 50 million tubs of toilet paper, that's a panic-induced state. Versus, okay, I have 4 people in my house. Quarantine is about 14 days. So let's say 3 weeks. How much toilet paper do I normally use in a week? How often do I buy more toilet paper for my family? Okay, well, I'm going to buy this much toilet paper under the impression that we might be quarantined for a month. You see where I'm going? There's a difference between problem solving it and panic preparation. Okay? So, what I was saying, my Redbox story. So here's what I did. You ready for this? So I wanted to go get a Redbox, which is something that everyone touches, and it was at the grocery store. So in my pocket, I had just the card that I wanted to use. I had a trial spray can of Lysol, and I had hand sanitizer. I used the same finger to punch all the things in, to punch all this, same hand to swipe my card, and then I got the DVD case out, and then when I got in my car, I sprayed my debit card down with Lysol, and I sprayed the DVD case, not the DVD because you'll ruin it, the DVD case down with Lysol, and then I got my hand sanitizer and I rubbed my hands, and then I took my happy ass to my friend's house and I watched that DVD. Okay? That's me being okay, let me problem solve this. I want to do this, and instead of because I'm not going to lock myself in my house, I'm just telling y'all. That's just me though. If you do want to stay in your house and not go up, I will tell you, here's the interesting thing. I have a couple of people on my social media that this is what they did instead of panicking. They took their family and they went boating. Talk about social distancing, right? It's you and your family in a boat away from everyone else. Another person on my social media, their problem solving instead of panicking was, hey, we're going to take the RV and we're going to go camping with the family. You know what I'm saying? So it's getting that thread of panic out, which starts with, first off, taking a deep fucking breath. And I'm sorry if that word, if that word offends you, I love you. Let's all just agree to disagree. It's fine. That word means nothing, right? Breathe and then problem solve it. There is no use in panicking and freaking out over it. Okay? Because some people are panicking to the point that they're being a shitty human being. Not everyone. Just some people. Feel free to throw in some questions and your thoughts too, friends. Okay? Here's this one. This is another panic thought that comes up. And all I'm doing, I'm giving you examples of what my brain does. And it took me 2 years to train my brain to do this. For my brain to problem solve instead of panic over things. Because I've dealt with anxiety. I've dealt with all of these things and this fear and panic. I've dealt with it myself. And I've learned what works for me. Get curious and problem solve. This one. What if my job shuts down? You know what I did? I was like, that's interesting because, see, I'm an entrepreneur. My job functions technically either way. So I was like, that's an interesting question. So what if I did have a job that, is an hourly job and requires me to be there and my company is not going to pay me? You know what I did? I went to Google and I typed in unemployment COVID-19. And what I found out is there's a lot of opportunities on there that you can apply for unemployment, and that in some states it can be rushed to you. It can be rushed to you, especially if you have proof from a doctor that someone in your family is quarantined because of COVID-19. And I just Googled that. So my point with that is like, instead of the panic going out, problem solve it, right? There's also, like, I don't know if this has happened to you, like I have credit cards. Credit cards are emailing me saying, if COVID-19 is affecting you, please contact us. So for example, if I had a job that me not being there affected everything, my response instead of panicking would be, instead of like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And just being stuck and frozen, I would breathe. And then I would pick up the damn phone. I would call each and every one of my credit cards and I would tell them, here's what happened. My husband has been diagnosed, or whatever it is. I would tell them, I'd be like, I'm out of a job because my company panicked. What can we do with this? Because I don't have the money to make these payments. Because the biggest thing is we panic, and that's embarrassing. You're like, I don't want to have to call my... Shut up, pick the phone up, call your credit card companies. There's a lot of electricity and like water companies that are giving benefits to people that are affected with this. Call your electricity company, call your landlord, call all of these people. Instead of panicking, call them and tell them. Because it's about problem solving, not panicking. The fear's going to be there. Do I feel fear around this? You bet your ass I do. Yeah, it does scare me. But I'm not going to be panicked about it, and I'm not going to let it rule my life. I'm going to problem solve about it, and I'm going to make sure that I'm taking care of my area and my zone. You know what I'm saying? My husband is still going to work, and he works at one of those office buildings where you rent your own space. So he's interacting with a lot of people there, and every time when he leaves, I'm just like, be safe, make sure you use hand sanitizer and wash your hands. Here's another thing too. Count the 20 seconds when you wash your hands. I don't know about y'all, but the other day I was like, I wonder how long I'll wash my hands. And I started counting and I was like, oh shit, I think I washed my hands for like 5 seconds. My bad. Now I'm washing my hands for 20 seconds. Okay? So if your job is shut down, apply for unemployment. Call all of your credit cards. Call your landlord. Call all of the things. Do not panic about it. Just call all of them and say, here's where we are. Because if there's anything, like I'm going to tell you, this is my belief, and you can say that I'm a lunatic or crazy or whatever. I don't think that I am. I believe that this is happening right now to force humanity to slow down and see what is important. So there's a lot of companies right now that are realizing, like, think about it, credit card companies right now, if they still continue to force people to pay for things, they're not going to get any money from people that are out of jobs. Like, you don't have any money to give them. So it's in their best interest to work with you. Electricity companies, do you think, like, that's not in their best interest to just cut off your electricity knowing good and damn well you lost your job because of the pandemic? Right? So this is going to really cause a shift in humanity in the way that we do things. I think it really is going to cause people to slow down. Like, there's a lot of teacher friends that I'm like, hey, yo, what you freaking out about? You get to be at home more. Okay, I'm just saying. You get to see your family. Some people are like, oh my God, they extended spring break by 2 weeks. And I responded back with, so you have a 2-week holiday? That's good. You get to catch up on rest and all the things you were wanting to do. And they're like, oh yeah. It's just about reframing it. It's not about panicking. It's just about problem solving it and reframing it. Ashley says you're on fire. Yes, okay. Like, one of the reasons I left teaching was to slow down and spend more time on the things that matter to me. So I'm watching this, and I'm watching people being forced to spend more time with their family and to really recognize, like, oh, my health is really important and things like that. And I'm like, I know. So this is a good awakening for a lot of people, especially, anyways. This one. I'm stuck in my house with all my kids. They're going to drive me insane. I did write that question down. I'm going to share this link below because apparently there's a lot of kids apps that have subscriptions and stuff that are having free subscriptions right now. So I'm going to drop that in the comments. So if your kids are crazy and bothering the shit out of you, go get a free subscription to something. Go buy some games. Right? Like how I said I went to Redbox, like, I don't know, hold your breath for the 5 minutes it takes to go in. Like, go to the store, go buy some games that you guys can play, and then when you bring the game home, spray it down with Lysol and sanitize your hands. Oh, side note, sorry. I left this out earlier of how to take care of yourself. Something that's really good that you could get is a neti pot, like the nasal rinses, because a lot of apparently what is happening is, like, the germs are going to get stuck in the mucus in your nose, so you can get something that's like a neti pot or a nasal rinse that you can do that. So like if you go out and buy board games and stuff like that, and then you come home, sanitize your hand, wash your hands. If you really want to, you could get in the shower and clean all of your body off, and then do a nasal rinse. I've been doing a nasal rinse every morning and every evening just to keep all of this cleaned out and to make sure that there's not anything sticking to the mucus in my nose, okay? But anyways, go buy some games. Go to Pinterest or Google and Google family activities. I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, use Google. Like, Google, like, thank God Google is free right now, right? Movie marathon. Like, maybe this is the month that you buy Disney Plus for a month or two. Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu. Like, there's so many, like, if you have Amazon Prime, there's Amazon Prime Video. Like, instead of like, holy shit, my kids are going to drive me insane, we're all going to kill each other, this is going to be the worst experience ever. If you think it's going to be the worst experience ever to spend time with your family, then you definitely need to reframe that shit, because that should be the people that you want to be around the most. I'm just saying. You should want to be around them the most, okay? Zach says, I'm stuck in the house with my cat, dog, and wife. Think I'm okay. There's apparently like this little joke thing going around that says dogs can't get COVID-19. So your dog is good. I don't know about cats, though. But yeah, like I'm not going to go out and be crazy. Yes. Oh my God. So Zach just said Marvel Marathon. That's a perfect one to do. It took me and Jeremy like literally 2 or 3 weeks to watch all the Marvel ones. Let's go through this. Let me think of all the marathons that I would love to do. I would love to do a Star Wars marathon, and most of those are on Disney Plus. Marvel Marathon, we watched all of those between, I think it was Netflix and Disney Plus, and then one of the Hulk movies was on, we had to rent, okay? Harry Potter. Apparently, somebody earlier said they did a Harry Potter marathon and they paid $80 to get them on Amazon Prime Video, I think is what it was. So you could do Star Wars, Marvel, Harry Potter. Like, I love Jane the Virgin, so I could watch that entire TV show again. My husband loves How I Met Your Mother. He could watch How I Met Your Mother again. Like, what are some movies you could watch with your family? What's a movie you love that your family has never seen that y'all could watch together? For example, what if you spent the entire day up, I pick the movie first and everyone watches it and we talk about it, why I tell them why I love it when it's done. And then next, dad gets to pick the movie, and then when it's done, he can talk about why he loves it and we can say what we liked about it or maybe what we didn't like. And then child number 1 picks the movie and everyone watches it. Then child number 2 picks the movie and everyone watches it. What if you did that for a day and then all of a sudden you get to learn something new about yourself, your partner, your children, or whatever it is? So everybody's getting this panic that's coming up, but in the grand scheme of things, what really needs to happen is we need to breathe and realize that we have control over how we respond to this. So breathe. That's literally the kind of breathing I'm talking about, where I'm like, and I've done this in the middle of Starbucks before. I had a freaking anxiety attack in the middle of Starbucks because I was reading something that scared the shit out of me. And I like was in Starbucks, like in my computer like this, tears like brimming in my eyes about to fall out, going. The only thing I was focused on was my breathing and my heart rate. And then problem solve. Reframe, change the questions around to where you can problem solve it. And instead of making it mean anything, right? Like, is there a bigger risk for people that have something that causes their immune system to be lower? Hell yes. So there's going to be fear behind that, but there's not a need to panic about it. Like if I have, like for example, I have food allergies that sometimes I'm a bitch about it and I eat gluten and dairy anyways. Like I did that at Disney, and so now I have rashes and hives on my body right now. Well, I'm going to be really, really sure that now that this pandemic is happening, that I am not eating any of my food allergies, the things that my body is allergic to. Like right now, I am doing fruit, veggies, and plant protein. That's what I'm doing for my body right now because I'm like, okay, I'm going to boost my immune system. But the panic is not helpful. The panic is not helpful. Like, it just is not helpful, and we have to function from a place of, okay, I as a human being am intelligent enough to problem solve this, because we all are. We are all intelligent enough to problem solve this. Teacher friends, if you are having to teach online, Zoom, you can see everyone. That one does cost money. You can write it off on your taxes next year. There's also Google Hangout. There's also a Microsoft one that you can use. Just make sure if you're going to do that, use your professional email and make sure that you look professional. Don't be in your fucking pajamas teaching your kids where they can see you. Okay? Private lesson teachers, you can use Skype. You can use Zoom. If I were a middle school band teacher, because I used to teach middle school band, I would use my Zoom account and I would have all my kids, because the kids can download it for free. And then my schedule for the day would be my normal class schedule. At 9 a.m., my French horn class is up first. So from 9 to 9:45, I would sit there with my little French horn babies and we would work on stuff and I'd teach them. And then from 9:50 to 10:35, whatever it is, I would see my next class. Okay? So there's a lot of options out there. There's Google Drive as well. Like if you're a teacher that your school system uses Google Drive, you can do video assignments, all kinds of shit through Google Drive. So the thing is like, there's a fear there because a lot of things are changing. This is shifting humanity as we know it right now. And it's scary. And that's okay to be afraid of it, but it's not okay to allow the panic to overwhelm you to the point of like you can't breathe, you can't function, that you're freaking out, and that you are or being an asshole. Okay? So that is what that is what I do when I feel my fear and anxiety and all of that stuff coming up. That is what I do. I breathe. And then I take back control and I reframe those thoughts into a question that I then problem solve and answer. If I can't make any money right now, what do? I literally Googled unemployment COVID-19. I found lots of links and websites. So go Google that shit. Call all your credit cards, like things like that. Like instead of panicking over it, breathe, rephrase the question, and then problem solve, right? So that is my helpful hints of how, like, that is how I manage my fear and my anxiety. That is how I'm not panicking and freaking out right now. I mean, yeah. So I guarantee you if you were to sit down, like I also meditate every single day, which kind of helps me like with that too. I think that, Calm is doing a free subscription for teachers right now. But that's what I do. That is the most helpful thing, is to breathe, ground yourself back into your body, reframe the question, and then problem solve that shit. Okay? And everything that I shared with you right now, like everything I've learned over the past 2 years that keeps me from panicking with this, that's exactly the kind of stuff that we're covering in my Confident and Kick-Ass online program. It's a 2-week program where we're covering things like, okay, fear comes up, but how do I function where it doesn't rule me? How do I combat that where it doesn't rule me so that you feel like you can be a calm, functioning human being even when the fear comes up? That you can look in the mirror and be like, I'm going to figure this shit out. That you can look in the mirror and have that confidence in yourself that you can kick ass at whatever is coming at you, that even though the fear is there, that you can function without panicking because you have tools and things to use to manage that. Okay? So that is like this that I'm talking about right now, the skills that I shared with you, like this is a small portion of what I am teaching in that online program. And this right here is why it is so important. I don't want people to feel panic over things. I want them to know that they are intelligent enough to problem solve things. So this is the type of stuff that we are doing in my online course, Confident and Kick-Ass. It's a 2-week program and it is amazing and incredible. And I'm so excited to share this information with people so that they feel the same way I do, of like, okay, this is scary. What am I going to do about it now? Okay, I'm trying to go for my big dreams and goals. This is scary. What am I going to do about it? Or first off, what are my big dreams and goals? I haven't even thought about that shit in a while. Okay? So if that's something that you're like, you know what, my emotions rule me all the freaking time and I'm so tired of it, I just want to be confident and kick ass, message me. I got you. It's a 2-week program, wham, bam. And then at the end of 2 weeks, you're going to be like, oh, I'm about to kick ass. Okay? Message me. That's what I got going on. We're starting ideally, not this Monday, but the next Monday. I can't remember the date off the top of my head. But message me. It's $97. I'm happy to make a payment plan for people. But it's going to be game changing. It's 5 or 6 videos where I share like all kinds of shit that is going to like revolutionize your life. Your confidence is going to like through the roof to where you look in the mirror and you're like, boy, let me kick life's ass right now. Okay? I love you guys so much. You're amazing. You're incredible. Remember that. Yes, this is scary. Okay? Yes, it's scary. But breathe, ground yourself, and problem solve the shit out of that. You are all intelligent human beings and you can problem solve this. There is no need for all that crazy panic out there. And feel free to share this video if you're like, I got a lot of people on my Facebook that are real panicky and all bullshit about this. Share my video then. Feel free to share this video so that other people are getting this information, because that's really what needs to happen. For example, this is another thing, reframe that I'm doing. Instead of being like, oh my God, this COVID-19 is going to like, oh my God, it's going to like ruin everything. Mine is, wow, this is really about to shift humanity and how humanity looks at the world. This is going to really help people like see what matters to them. This is allowing people time to rest and slow down and spend time with their family and get to know like, hey, this is what's really important to me. And when I reframe it that way, I'm like, oh, okay, well now how am I going to take care of myself so I don't feel like shit during this whole process? Right? I love you guys so much. You're amazing. You're incredible. Like, be smart about all of this. Take care of yourself. I love you. Message me if confident and kick ass is something that resonates with your soul. I love you. Have a great rest of your day.